a beautiful, Starkey Ranch, lovely place. Sturry, Bexley, you know, or 7 Oaks, all very beautiful. But the point is it doesn't really slow down traffic. It doesn't really make us different. We just look like big box corporate America with nice subdivisions. So, we went into this project with the Avalon Park people that are out in Orlando, and I drove out there. And I said, when I saw that story of Avalon, Orlando, I'm gonna pick my clock. He said I had 4 days or.
Yeah.
So I drove out there, and they, in the middle of a cow pasture, in 1999, they break ground. They break ground in this unique mixed-use project, which is really a urbanized area in the middle of nowhere. And people laughed at them and said, you know, this guy from Switzerland is the owner, and they laughed at me. Fiat, yes. So, and he did it. And you know what? He created a boom in Orlando, the east side. In fact, developers like Toll Brothers and the others that are building it around Avalon Park, and then they call themselves, you know, Cedar Ridge at Avalon Park, even though they're not in Avalon Park, because it elevated the real estate values. So, he had a NPUD approved, just like any other one. Not saying it's not nice, you know, it's single area, townhouse area, you know, 50-foot lot area, 35-foot lot area, that kind of thing with retail. So we started talking, and I said, let's do something different, but better than Avalon Orlando, because you have no parking decks. You know, it's like a lot of parking, a lot of bituminous, a lot of heat in the summer. And he was great to work with, and he hired a local attorney who I love working with. He was very, very creative. And we came out with this thing called Avalon Park Wesley Chapel. So on 215 acres of the NPUD that's already there, we came up with a new plan that actually reduces the number of housing that they were gonna build. It reduces the housing. And how many developers will reduce the number of houses that they already have approved? I don't know any. 2,700 housing units, 165,000 square feet of Class A office, 190,000 square feet of commercial, and most of the buildings will be integrated with freestanding office buildings. So we use tax increment financing funds to pay for this, and this was really cool. So we did a tax study, and this is where my finance background comes into play. We did a tax study of what the tax generation would be if they completed Avalon Park as approved, the NPUD. So we had a dollar amount, and using the same methodology, since we were, you know, apples to apples on the assumptions, we said, well, what would this plan generate? And it generated much more, even though it had reduced residential, because we could reduce office and commercial. And so let's say this is the NPD as approved, and let's say this is where the new tax revenue projection would be. We looked at the money in the middle to pay for the infrastructure, and we came up with a deal. We're giving them $32 million in tax increment funding. That's all, it's a refund of the property taxes. But the point I wanted to make is, net to the county during the 30 years we give them this rebate, they're gonna be spending more dollars into the county general fund than they would have if they just built out the NPD. So that it's a win-win for the county. We get the behavior we want, and the county gets more revenue. So that worked out. Now, so it's a 30 years, capped at 32 million. We incentivize it for one additional office for about $1 million next week. So we're bidding over 1,000 new jobs that wouldn't have been there today. And here's the big thing: 50% of the residents there in that county will not be leaving the county, driving out of that property during rush hour. And that's compared to the traffic study for the MPD. We are reducing off-site traffic again by 50%. That's smart development. So the county comes out of winter economically, we get jobs and less traffic on our street. And this is a rendering. This is how they have this big lake and they have these buildings around it. It's mixed use. So even though, like, you know, the shops at Wesley Chapel are very pretty, this is the next evolution. There's actually people living above it. So I'm walking around the Orlando project, and I found that some of the people that lived above them, like it's like 1938. You know, it was Back to the Future, you know, we're going back to street patterns and things. I mean, we're cycling back to that. And what do the millennials want? They want the urban lifestyle with the amenities of the suburban area. And what are some of our seniors like? You know, I walk down, you know, Tampa and some of the new Ivy areas, I see seniors that have moved in there. They don't want to live in a retirement community. So this thing will be great. It'll be dynamic. It'll be all different types of people living there, all different walks of life. And now this building, this is a pretty good shot because this is the first building they ever built. So what's unique about Avalon Park is they manage and own the property. They don't, it's not like, you know, a developer comes in and builds stuff and they're out of town. These guys own this stuff and they depreciate it. And this building was built in 2000, and even though it's got a little patina on it, it really still looks good. And that's typical of how the buildings are gonna be. They're very clever. You see all the facade, those facades are just artificial. This is just a tilt-up building. So from here to here is just one office building. They just cleverly changed the facade and put different colors on it and break it up. That's just one building. So it goes up very quickly. They're going vertical, by the way, on Route 54 towards Zephyr Hills very shortly. I think by the fall, we put in the first building.
David, with the residential, is it condominiums that purchase or is it rental?
Well, it'll probably be condo and rental. So, and it's not only gonna be for the people that live there and in that MPUD, this is gonna be a town center for Wesley Chapel for the 54 section. And I can't tell you about it now because it's a confidential project. See, a lot of times, developers will come in and there's a statutory provision that allows them to be confidential for a year. So there's another project, so we're focusing on, we did this one for 54, and then there's a 56 need that we're working on now. And it'll be different, but as cool as this. There'll be 6 parking decks here, 6 parking decks.
Wow.
Right, so we won't have a lot of parking there. Okay, so over in your area, in the Chamber area, over Old Pasco Road, the county owned 100 acres. It was used for sanitary sewer treatment. And I said being premier is being creative. The land was just sitting there, and it was decommissioned because there's a lot of clay in the soil. So, you know, they really needed percolation. I don't know why they even built it there to begin with, but whatever, it was years ago. So it was decommissioned. It was a liability to the county. They paid insurance on it, and it was just sitting there eating money. So what we did was we got a rezone for a business park. We got a $3 million Florida job creation grant in 2018. That was my first grant I pulled in since I've been here. And well, we got a little one, a big one. And basically what we did was we moved ahead, and we're almost done with construction. We have pulled out all the infrastructure, regraded 100 acres, put in stormwater basins, relocated reclamation lines, sanitary sewer potable water lines, $3 million worth of capital work that managed through my office. And we're flipping it to a developer that paid $15,000 above the appraisal, and they're gonna build a 860,000 square foot business park with 1,500 jobs. They're gonna break ground in the fall. First building will be up, which will be about 187,000 square feet this summer of 22. So we're moving along. Well, so I just wanted, I think these projects, all these projects have been incentivized through my office, with the Passive Forest program in your area. TPA Edison, I told you about, we co-allowed these properties.